Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name's Jen, and this is day 3 of Mermay. So we're just getting started, and I was gonna do the whole month, but it's not gonna happen now. Because my MS has decided to flare up, and I've got optic neuritis, which is a pain in the ass, or I should say a pain in the eye, specifically my right eye. Now if you hear anything, sidetracked, if you hear anything in the background, it's a 3D printer running. The fans are really quite loud, and I might change them to something maybe a little quieter. I haven't quite decided yet. It might piss me off after a while. Fix the squeaking, but the fans are still going. But anyway, back to the optic neuritis. So it messes with my eye. I might put a little card up above. Why am I waving my hands around? I have no fucking idea. Or I'll put a link below. Somebody wants to know exactly what it is. So anyway, it messes with your eyes, messes with your color perception. So like reds, greens, anything like that. It comes out kind of gray, or you get like black, blank gray spots in your eyes. Flashing lights, which is what's happening now. It's a pain in the ass. So when you try to draw, yeah, okay, you can draw, but then your eyes really eyes start hurting, and then your head hurts, and you just can't draw anymore because you can't freaking concentrate anymore. So yeah, so that's the joys of having a chronic condition, degenerative condition at that, when you want to draw. So that's what I'm going to talk about for the next, couple minutes. Health and drawing. You know, how they say health is important. Well, I'm specifically going to talk about multiple sclerosis and drawing. So it's a pain in the ass. That was the 3D printed on Dunk there, if you heard that. Anyway, back to the MS and drawing. So while I can still draw, doing stuff traditional, sometimes my hand's a little shaky, so it's really shaky. With digital, I can fix that because I can, Control Z and just delete it. When you're working traditionally, sometimes that's a little harder, but still doable, just depending on what you're using. So you're using like a lino cut, you make a mistake with that, yeah, you can kind of sometimes fix it, say like with wood filler, but you don't want to have to fix it because it changes the plate. But anyway, so yeah, traditional art in MS, and me at least, there are plenty of artists probably that, well, not plenty of artists, but there are probably artists out there that have, hiccups, multiple sclerosis and do perfectly fine. Me, on the other hand, I get most of my lesions are on my cerebellum, which affects your motor and your motor functions and all that crap, which is great. So that's why my hands are a little shaky, or they go numb. Like I can't pick up paper because my tips of my fingers are numb, or they're like pincing, and it's not even like your foot's asleep. It's just like you've been getting eaten by fire ants. It's quite painful, and then it's also numb, so you can't feel anything. And then you get, how do you say it? Neuropathy, stocking and glove neuropathy. We'll call it that. Where your arms go numb, your hands go numb, you can't feel frickin' anything, and that's with your hands. But even though they can happen to your feet, and that's called something else, but I don't know exactly what off the top of my head. I might try to remember it, but I can't remember at the moment. And the talking fast has nothing to do with the MS. I've always talked fast, so can't use the MS as an excuse for that. But so yeah, numb fingers, numb hands is a pain in the butt. So sometimes with a couple minutes rest, the numbness in my hands goes away, or the cramping, or like I said, the stocking glove neuropathy, or goes away. But other times no, it doesn't, and it's there for days. And then sometimes that's a relapse / flare up, depending on what your neurologist wants to call it, or what you want to call it. And then if it doesn't go away, then you can take steroids for it, or you just wait till it hopefully maybe goes away. Because I don't personally like taking steroids, even though sometimes they do help. But the side effects of them, are not the best. You can get really aggro and, hungry, we'll say. And when you don't want to really eat, but you're hungry. And they're so fucking bitter. They're fucking horrible. I'm swearing a lot. Hey, whatever, that's me. They're horrible. At least when and even if you take them with IV, you still get like a taste in your mouth. And I don't know how that works. So you still get, when you're not actually taking the pills, you're getting an IV. I don't know how that works, but I'm not a neurologist, nor a doctor, so of any type. But yeah. So while I was gonna do Mermay, not gonna happen now. I can maybe get one done a week, maybe, hopefully. But with my eye being the way it is, with the flashing lights, in the gray spots in my vision, and I have really no peripheral vision at the moment out of my right eye. Oddly enough, with me and MS, it's my right side usually that's messed up. Whether that's my hands, my legs when I'm trying to walk around, whether that's, my face if it goes numb, which it can go numb occasionally, but it's just loads of fun. But yeah, it's not really. you can't tell by the sarcasm in my voice, it's kind of frustrating actually. But yeah, so I've been diagnosed for, I don't know, since what, 2007, I think? Was it? Possibly? I think that's about right. When did we move here? I can't remember. And John's not here, so he can't tell me. I think it's 2007. But I am 40 now. I've been having symptoms since I was about 18. Now, me being the stupid 18-year-old that I am, thought, hey, you know, it's nothing. Or if it is, you know, whatever, I'm 18, nothing will kill me. You know, well, I mean, I knew things would kill me, but you're 18 and young, and you're stupid. So, and I thought, okay, maybe it's Lyme disease, which I should have still went to the doctor for, because I was living in an area where there was lots of deer dicks and all that stuff, but I didn't. And then I kept falling, and my legs would go numb, and the pins and needles feeling, but then it would go away. Which makes sense, because I was diagnosed with relapsing remitting MS, which is, you get symptoms, and then they go away, and then they come back maybe, which is a pain in the ass. But, or even if they don't go away, well then you've progressed in the disease, so then you're thinking, oh crap. But, you're not always going to end up in a wheelchair, I just hit my hand, if you've got MS. It might happen, it might not. You know, it just depends. I'm on meds at the moment, they're quite strong meds. You know, it's an infusion every 6 months. I was on strong meds before, which was a pill every day. And then before that, I was on an injection, which if you see a search for Rebuff on my videos, you'll find it. Might link it below, and you can laugh at youngish me, kind of. But, yeah, so that was an injection. It looked like I was hit by a paintball machine on my legs and my stomach and stuff. Now, I don't have to deal with that, thankfully, because, you know, I get needles, like if I get blood taken, they're really afraid of needles? No. Needles don't bug me at all. I can take my own blood if you let me do it. But they switched me to another med, like a pill, and then when they thought that was stop working, then they put me on this infusion every year, which is every 6 months. And then it's sort of working, I think. But I mean, what's happening now? That could be a flare-up from having my tooth pulled. It very well could be, because I'm not having any tooth pain, so there must have been something wrong with that tooth. You know, so that could have been adding to a flare-up, because you get any kind of infection that possibly sometimes triggers your MS. So maybe that's what it was, but then, you know, any kind of thing like getting a tooth pulled, any kind of stress. Stress is a big factor, at least for me, with MS. Stress can be a huge factor. So can other things like heat, and there's all kinds of factors. I mean, depends on the person. It's such a... It affects people different ways. That's what it comes down to. And that's the problem, because it's an invisible, you know, illness. You know, you can look at somebody, well, you look at me, you know something's wrong, but, especially if I'm in a wheelchair, but, and even then, don't think anybody who's in a wheelchair is, you know, sick or anything. Could be many reasons a person's in a wheelchair, you know. For my case, is when I'm having problems walking, so, you know, hey, and not everybody with a disability is old, which is another thing that pisses me off, but I'm not getting into that right now. I'm supposed to be talking about a mermaid, but I haven't said anything about this mermaid. I'll do that really quickly right now. It's supposed to be the mermaid with an anglerfish. Is an anglerfish, I think, you know, with a little creepy fish, lives really deep in the ocean and stuff, and has, like, you know, a glowy thing on the top of its head. But that's what this was supposed to be. So I'm done talking about the mermaid. Back to talking about the MS and arts. Which, what I was saying, it's kind of frustrating sometimes because I can't do some things that I want to do with art, because either because I can't physically do it safely, or I just don't have the strength to do it. And that sounds really odd, but when you're doing, like, say, like a big lino cut, or a big painting or something like that, you can do it. It's just going to take you longer, because sometimes the fatigue gets to you and you can't finish it, say, like, before, like you could in a day, you know, and now it takes you a week. And that's what I mean, fatigue is a bitch. I'll say that right now. Fatigue is a bitch. Getting tired, and it feels like you're walking through concrete. At least for me, it feels like you're walking through concrete. You can't really move. It's a pain in the ass. But, so yeah. I'm not finishing Mermay, like I said, because the MS is flaring up, which is a pain in the ass. But I can't do much about it. And it's just pretty much grin and bear it, and hope for the best when it comes down to it. It sucks, but you can't do anything, like I said, can't do anything about it. And you kind of want to sometimes, but you can't. And it's very frustrating. I will not deny that at all. I won't deny that at all, because there are things I would love to do. I would love to get better painting digitally. I would love to get better, you know, painting, say, with oil paints. Because I miss oil paints, but I can't clean up properly, so I don't really paint with oils anymore. Even though I have a whole drawer full of oil paints, but I don't really use them because I can't really clean up properly. I would love to do more printmaking, like with etching and stuff. And I can do the etching plates, I just can't print them. One, I don't have a printing press, but two, I just don't have the energy anymore. I used to be able to, but not now. It's not even nothing to do with age. It's because the disease has progressed, which sucks. But I can't, like I said, do anything about it. I can still do some kind of art, so that's okay. As long as I can do something, I'm okay with that. You know, even if I have to use like a stick attached to my forehead to paint, I'll do that. My uncle actually ended up doing that when he was, so how old was him? I can't remember how old he was, but he used to paint like art on with a pointer on a stick, or a stick attached to a headband on his head, and he painted with that. So yeah, that's what he used to do, because he was a paraplegic, and the long story with that, he broke his neck, and yeah, it doesn't matter. So he's unfortunately passed away, but he used to paint. He was quite active in actually this. So yeah, disability doesn't mean you can't be active and do stuff you want to do. That's a complete side point that I should maybe mention in another video. But this video was me saying I can't finish Mermay, unfortunately, and it sucks. But hey, it is what it is. And I actually quite like the way this fish turned out, actually, even though Lily did it very, very quickly. You know, I guess working quickly works well for me, you know. It's very loose, and it's not exactly 100% accurate, but I actually like the way the fish turned out here, you know. But, you know, maybe I should just keep doing that. And one thing there, I don't know, Microsoft telling me there's an account problem. That's what it's telling me. But anyway, back to the mermaid. So this is it finished. Like I said, I like it. I like the fish. I like the fish. Not too keen on the mermaid, but that's because it was really rough. But I like the fish. Oddly enough, because it's an ugly freaking fish. But yeah, so that's me kind of sort of talking about MS and art. I can maybe go about talk about it more, or maybe more in depth, and how I cope with things, or how people can cope with things, because there are many adaptations you can get and use. So if you want me to do that, I will do that. You know, if you're watching this and you want me to do that, I will gladly do that, because, you know, hey, it's good to show and things and tell people what you know, and show people what is possible. But yeah, so thank you for listening to me ramble about the MS in art, and saying I'm not going to finish Mermay, unfortunately. Well, I'll still do some mermaids, but not every day, because I just can't. But yeah, so, you know, like, subscribe, click the little bell thingy to get notified, and thanks for watching, and please come back, hopefully on Saturday, to see the next mermaid.